Hello, welcome to eLearning in ELA. In this slideshow, we're going to talk about a couple of things that we need to do to be prepared for eLearning. So here's what we're going to cover. We're going to cover the introduction to eLearning. We're going to cover the online tools that we're going to need and use for e-learning. There are some that you're already familiar with, and then there are some that are going to be new to us as we take on this new adventure together. We're going to talk about our weekly checklists and the HYPERDOC that we're going to be using for all of our unit work. And we're also going to talk about how communication is going to work now that we're kind of in this virtual world. And I'll explain how that goes. And then we're going to recap with some tips for success. Okay, so here we go. Things are going to be a little different for a while, and I want to first acknowledge that I recognize that I am not the only teacher who's giving you online assignments to do while you're at home. So we're all aware of that, and we're all aware of the big change that this is creating with everybody. I want you to kind of just keep in mind we're all learning together right now, and it's important for us to all be patient and kind and persevere through all of the myriad of issues that might come up in the meantime. So as we go through this, this is where communication is just going to have to become one of those things that's extremely important. And I'll cover more about that a little bit later. Just make the best of this. There is something to be said about what the world is experiencing right now, and I'm sure it's something that everybody is going to talk about for a long time and even generations. There's a couple things that we want to cover right off the get-go. A lot of the district news and communication that's coming out from Parkway is telling people to go to Schoology, use Schoology. And I want to make it clear that we are not using Schoology. Now is not the time for us to learn something new. We are going to stick with a program that we're already familiar with and that we already know. So Schoology, no. If you go to Schoology, it'll just give you like kind of like a redirect, like go to Google Classroom. Everything is going to be in Google Classroom for us. So make sure that you are paying attention that Google Classroom is the place for everything. Online tools. Okay, you are very familiar with CommonLit, and that's not going away. We're going to continue to leverage and use the articles and the features that are up there for us for doing reading and writing and multiple choice and strategies and thinking and critical analysis and things like that. And you're also familiar with Actively Learn. If you remember, around the Halloween time, we ended up doing a lot of the Jack the Ripper reading, as well as ghost stories and things like that through Actively Learn. If we're going to bring that back, and it's going to be something that we also use pretty frequently. We are adding in two new tools. We're adding in Parlay, which is kind of, it helps us to facilitate online group discussions. And what's great about Parlay is like anybody can join in at any time and participate. So it's nothing that you have to schedule. It's nothing that you have to like wait or rely on other people to do their part or anything. Everybody can just kind of jump in whenever, and then the discussion is like constantly kind of rolling through its various places. And then No Red Ink. No Red Ink is what we're going to use for accessing language and grammar practice. And there's some good news and some bad news. The good news is it's not going to be very extensive because lucky for us, we've already been doing a lot of our language study and grammar work. So we don't really need to focus on anything that we've already mastered. So with No Red Ink, it's only going to be used for the things I know that you already need a little bit of practice with, just to help reinforce those skills. It's exciting. It's actually interactive and it's kind of fun. So you might enjoy that as well. And then finally, Flipgrid. We are going to be leveraging Flipgrid a lot. It's going to be heavy. And we're going to be using it Mondays, we're going to be using it Fridays, and then we might use it for assignments in between. So we're going to definitely make sure that we're in there and we're communicating with each other as well as with me. So how is this going to work? Okay, so our normal unit right about this time of the year is our argument unit. Okay, and that's where we're learning to write the argument in the argument style. We're learning advanced skills like how to use rhetoric and ethos, logos, and pathos, and what are logical fallacies and how do I avoid them, and all of those types of things come into play with the argument writing piece. The reading piece that we're doing is more about critical nonfiction for the purpose of research. And it's supposed to kind of crescendo us into this like research mode where we're choosing to dig deeper into a topic, and we're learning the critical thinking skills, the reading skills, and the writing skills to convey the things that we're learning in an argument kind of fashion. And that's where we should be right about now. With virtual learning, it's going to be pared down quite a bit, actually. And so you're going to find that we're kind of weaving the reading and the writing in together, and we are not. We're not treating them as separate things because they really do kind of bounce off of each other really well, the skills that we're going to be talking about. So in the unit work, we've put it all together for you, and we've made it kind of almost like gamified in a way, where you're going to see a big giant hyperdoc, and the hyperdoc is going to walk you through day by day by day, and you'll be able to work at whatever pace you can work at. So some of you might go very fast through some of the skills and lessons. Some of you might go very slow through the skills and lessons, but ultimately we should all end up at the same place at the end. And one of the things that I want to tell you about the HYPERDOC is that that's where all the unit skills, the unit work, the mini lessons, the teaching points, and all of those application things are. And that's great because it's all in one place. So, but the way we designed it is it's the entire unit. Actually, it's two units in one HYPERDOC. So when you get into the HYPERDOC on Monday, don't look at it say to yourself, "Oh my gosh, I have so much to do." You don't. The HYPERDOC is 6 weeks worth of work. 6 weeks worth of work. It's designed to take us all the way through all of our e-learning. So pace yourself. I'll walk you through what that's going to look like on Monday. So the HYPERDOC will be all of our unit work, and then all of our supplemental or ancillary stuff. That means the extra stuff will be done through other programs and things like that. And for that, you will have a weekly checklist, and it'll walk you through that as well. So as long as you're willing to kind of hang in there, you will find that it's actually pretty tailored to pacing yourself and getting through the unit pieces. And all of that is coming on Monday. Wait, that way. Monday. Okay. Woo! There it is. Okay, got it. Getting there. Okay, let's talk about communication. First off, yes, I totally miss you, and it's interesting what we're going through. So it's nice that we have something to kind of as a community kind of embrace. And I want to give you an outlet for communicating your thoughts and your feelings during this time. So we're going to talk about that stuff through our community circles and Flipgrid. Those are coming back. But if there is something that you need academically that I can help you with, I have office hours. And my office hours are 1 o'clock until 2 o'clock on every weekday. What that means is that I will be sitting in front of my computer, and I will be there and available in case you need to get a hold of me. So if you shoot me off an email, I should be able to reply as quickly as possible to you to get the answers or to get you what you need to learn. You can email me anytime you want. I'm here, like literally here with like in the same spot you're in. I'm social distancing with my family, and we're not leaving the house except for maybe walking the dog, and that's about it. So we're other than being a mom and being a wife and feeding my family, and making sure the house stays put together, and making sure my own children are actually doing their virtual homework. I'm here. So I promise that I will be able to get back with you as soon as I possibly can. So you can email me anytime, but just know that I also have the office hours where I'm ready and waiting for you from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock in the afternoon every day, Monday through Friday. I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, oh, Mrs. Olkey, I miss circle time. I miss our talks, and I miss the way we connect, and I miss the way that we get a chance to all share and experience the world. And I want to say, guess what? We can do that virtually, and it's going to be okay because we're going to do it in Flipgrid, and it'll be great. So every Monday, we will have our circle time just like usual. We'll just be doing it in Flipgrid. So I'll have a topic and a theme, and you can go ahead and answer it with your own videos. And then you can watch everybody else's videos. You can reply to everybody else's videos. And that's a nice space for us to build community and just communicate about whatever else is going on. It will probably not be academic. It'll probably be goofy. Just telling you now. Just brace yourself. I know. The first one we're going to do is pets. It's going to be great. I'm so excited. So make sure that you're popping in every Monday and checking out our Flipgrids, and you're participating and watching everybody's videos for that. Okay. Now, Flipgrid is also going to be used as a communication portal for you and me. And we're going to do something called a Friday recap. And what that basically means is that every Friday, I want you to send me a Flipgrid. I want you to tell me how you're doing, what you were able to get accomplished in the work, what you still need help with, how's it going, how's it not going, what do you understand, what don't you understand, and what do you need. So we'll use Flipgrid for conferring, essentially, and that we will do every Friday. That is not something other students will see. That is something that just I will see. So the Flipgrid you post will only come to me, and then I will be able to reply to just you. So that's a one-way communication back and forth. So if there is something you want to share, like Mrs. Oki, I am struggling with these active passive, sentences in No Red Ink, it's driving me crazy, then I can respond to whatever it is going on, and I can help you understand that, and we can work through that through Flipgrid. And so it's a video relay back and forth. You can still email me, but I want us to get into that habit of using the Friday recaps so that we are talking to each other and understanding, like weekly we're touching base and doing that conferring, especially once the unit work gets rolling, okay? So Fridays, recaps, just you and me, Flipgrid. It'll be great. Okay, so here's a couple tips for success. Check Google Classroom every day. Every day. Go there first. Check it. It's going to have everything you need. And then it'll have links out to everything you need. So don't go to Schoology. Just go to Google Classroom, and you will find everything that you need there, and it'll walk you through on a daily basis what you need to be working on, okay? Do the best you can. Right now, we are all in a learning curve. We are all trying to figure out what this is supposed to look like and how it's supposed to be done and what works and what doesn't work, and we're still figuring that out on a daily basis. So things might change. Just do the best you can, and that's all that matters. If you feel frustrated, try. If you're feeling stuck, try a little harder. Okay, we need perseverance and we need grit. We need to be able to get through this. There's no quitting and there's no giving up. It needs to happen, and we can do that. And we need to understand that the key to that is communication. So make sure that you are emailing your teachers, including me. Make sure you're checking in on Flipgrid, and make sure that you are openly communicating with the people around you who are there to support you. We're all figuring it out right now, and it'll be fine. Finally, your last reminder here is you have a lot of extra time on your hands right now, and you should be reading. I know for a fact right before we left for spring break, we went to the library and you were able to get a book or two or three or more, because I know Mrs. Harness lifted the limit and everybody was able to kind of get as many as they wanted. So with that, you should have a book. In addition to that, now you have access to a ton of free stuff. Audible is offering all kinds of free audiobooks. Sora is available with all kinds of free online books. So when I tell you in a day or two and I say, hey, it's time to check in with your independent reading, what are you reading and how is it going? I should not have a single student say, I don't have a book. That's not an option. So you should be able to, you're going to have an abundant amount of resources in Google Classroom for how to get those books. You should be making the time to get that reading done. Now is the best time for that kind of learning to take place. And remember, when you're doing that reading, it's not about just putting the book in your face and consuming the story. It's about building up the stamina, the vocabulary, and the endurance. And that's really why we push reading as hard as we do. You have to be able to understand the things that are put in front of you, and comprehend it, especially, as things get more complicated and we get ready for high school. So independent reading is coming. Yes, be ready for it. I'm going to be asking pretty soon here. Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm totally ready to get started. So, what we're going to do for our very first activity is head over to Flipgrid, and go over there. Let's have our first circle time. It'll be exciting, and we can talk about pets. Let's talk about our pets, and I will share my pets with you, and you can get to know Ruby and Chester and Lulu. It should be great. It's our first virtual circle. Yay! Don't forget, wash your hands and don't touch your face. All right.